And of course the staff. I'd like to start with our affirmation. Gosh, I like the sound system in here. It's great, isn't it? We seek wisdom, understanding, insights into the views and circumstances of others, strength to seek what we believe in, humility to accept the combined decisions of others, patience, good humour at all times, especially in the West, tolerance and courtesy while working in the best interests of our great city. So good to see you all. And okay, we've got a number of public contributions here this morning, so we need to quietly move into it. First of all, apologies. I'll move that we accept apologies from Councillor Arthur Anai, from Councillor Fletcher and from Councillors Casey and Quacks for lateness. I'll move that. Seconder? Oh, there's Councillor Kathy there. Right. Excellent. Right. Well, we can delete that one. I'll move all of those. Councillor Callum will second. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's against passed. Right.
Mate.
Move on to declarations of interest. Don't have any declarations of interest. Acknowledgements, confirmation of minutes. Right, confirmation of minutes. Confirm the ordinary meeting minutes of this meeting held on Thursday, the 25th of June, 2015, be included, including the confidential section as a true and correct record. Move that. Seconder, Councillor Ross. All those in favour say aye. Aye. It's passed. Move on to next item 5. Now, we've got the Auckland acknowledgements there, councillors. I want to, and achievements, I want you to acknowledge the achievements. Been a very, very busy month of matters that have proceeded well. I have 5 acknowledgements here today. So what I propose to do is to just read through each of them together, and then at the end of the 5 acknowledgements for us to stand and pay our appropriate acknowledgement at the end. So if we can do it that way today. So today we're acknowledging the passing of Aliatino Paddy Walker, Sir Ronald Davidson, Captain Ian Bradley, Edward John Evans and Anzac Hikia. So first of all, I want to acknowledge Paddy Walker. Paddy was born in Samoa and migrated to New Zealand at the age of 10. She made a huge contribution to her community. A long-time advocate for Pacific women in New Zealand, she helped pave the way for Pacific issues on a local and national scale. Paddy helped establish the Pacific Island Youth Leadership Trust, was a leader in the community education and a founding member of the Pacific Women's Organisation Pacifica. She was an instrumental figure in the 1960s during the migration and settlement of Pacific people in Auckland and New Zealand. In April 2014, Paddy, at the age of 94, was honoured by the University of Auckland for her exceptional and distinguished service to education. She received a Distinguished Fellow Award from the Faculty of Education Schools of Critical Study and Education, the first Pacifica recipient. In receiving the award, Paddy became the first thought leader rather than an academic to have been recognised. She was a quintessential Pacific woman full of grace, love, honour and humility, intent on providing ongoing quiet service and love. She moved to Rarotonga in 1990, was influential in education in the Cook Islands, providing a program enabling teachers to use traditional ways to reach their Polynesian students through music, dance and art. Sir Ronald Davidson was the former head of New Zealand's judiciary for 11 years, from 1978 to 1989. He was born in Taranaki. Sir Ronald was educated at Te Kuiti District High and Auckland University, and after war service in the Army and Air Force, he practiced law in Auckland for 30 years. He was knighted in 1978, chaired the wine box inquiry into alleged tax fraud in the mid-1990s, and while he found no fraud, he recommended far-reaching changes to the law on tax matters. During his time as Chief Justice, Sir Ronald turned down an injunction to stop a rugby test during the controversial Springbok tour in 1981. In 1985, he sentenced the French agents Alain Manfard and Dominique Prieur to 10 years imprisonment for the sinking of the Greenpeace ship, the Rainbow Warrior, in the Auckland Harbour 30 years ago this month. In retirement, Sir Ron chaired the 1992 inquiry into the electrical power crisis. He died aged 94. Captain Ian Bradley was a regional councillor in Auckland and a former commander and temporary captain in the Royal New Zealand Navy. He died suddenly in USA in June. Born in England in 1937, Ian joined the Royal New Zealand Navy at 15 and rose through the officer ranks during a 27-year naval career. In 1977, Ian was appointed in command of the HNZS Waikato, and his command included the dramatic rescue of an ill Russian seaman from a Soviet trawler south of Stewart Island, in which the helicopter crew were awarded bravery medals. In his book, Don't Rock the Boat, Ian made a detailed account of Waikato's diplomatic and representational role during a number of high-profile port visits. Ian's Navy career unfortunately ended in controversy, but after an unsuccessful lawsuit against the Navy, Ian eventually and ultimately won an acknowledgement from the then Governor-General that he had been unjustly treated. Local politics beckoned after his naval career, initially with the Devonport Borough Council for 13 years and then the Auckland Regional Council for 2, before serving in the Auckland Regional Authority and then the Auckland Regional Council. Later, Ian joined the Department of Conservation, where his work on the Auckland Conservancy was deemed innovative and valuable. Fourthly, Edward John Evans. Warkworth community steward John Evans this month died aged 88. Born Edward, John's passing was acknowledged by many political leaders and representatives, including Prime Minister John Key. A National Party member for more than 50 years, he was New Zealand High Commissioner to London and Sir Lockwood Smith's Rodney manager for 7 campaigns. He received 2 honours for his community service work, an officer and member of the New Zealand Order of Merit. A retired businessman, John founded the Rodney Enterprises Trust and served on the Rodney Health Enterprise Trust Board for 27 years, chairing it for 6. He was also on the Age Concern Council and a life member of Rotary Club of Warkworth. Other community work included victim support, Sandspit Yacht Club, Warkworth AFC Football Club and Warkworth Scouts and Cubs. Finally, Anzac Pikia, a television presenter, Anzac of Ngāti Hikairo and Ngāti Maniapoto descent, died suddenly aged just 35 earlier this week. He had been devoted to Māori broadcasting and journalism for nearly 20 years as a reporter, producer and director. Anzac began reporting at Te Karare in 2002 and also worked on documentary series Wakahuia. He then worked at Māori television as a senior reporter and producer for Te Kaya from 2004 to 8. He then moved back to Te Karere. Friends of colleagues of the highly respected broadcaster originally from Waikato greatly mourned his passing. A statement from Te Karere said, "Our kapahaka connoisseur, we will miss the sound of your voice, the patu of your poi, the kopu of your hope and the pukana of your eyes. Our deep condolences and aroha go out to Anzac's whānau at this time." Colleagues and members of the public and the media and the staff, would you please stand in recognition of these good people. Kia ora and thank you. Perhaps we can note that in the next one. I'll try and get them to ensure that they send. Councillors, we have no petitions, but we have public input this morning. We have 2 pieces of individual input. Firstly from Penny Bright and secondly from Lisa Prager. Yes. And we have a late entrance into these discussions. Councillors, you may or may not be aware the staff made an announcement last night. Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. How bad was that? The staff made an announcement last night relating to the disability employment part of our organisation as it goes through a review of our community development team. And announcements were made that indicated the loss of one of our positions relating to disability advisor. Now, I know as much as you in terms of that announcement, but what it has meant is that representatives of the disability community are here this morning and would like the opportunity of voicing their concern. Now, normally, given the fact that it is a staff-related matter with employment responsibilities lying specifically with the Chief Executive Officer, I would say on 95% of occasions that there is another forum for that matter to be dealt with. But to be fair, we do not hear often from the disability community. They have turned up here in numbers. You are aware that we have a disability advisory group, and I have no doubt they will have a lot to say in this matter over the next few days. But in the circumstances, in the West we spread the love, and so we will most definitely be hearing today 5 minutes from Nicola Owens, who will speak on behalf of those who are present from the disability sector. Okay, so to all of our speakers, particularly Penny and Lisa, you will know the rules here, and that is 5 minutes for contribution, and then there'll be an opportunity for questions if there are any, and then we will move on. So the batting order will be Penny, then Nicola, and then Lisa. Penny, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I would like to make the point there is no Auckland housing crisis. In fact, it is a great big fat methane bubble based on the proverbial. You will be reminded that spatial planning must be evidentially based, and it was not. I'll state again. Department of Statistics recommended medium population growth projection for Auckland, but what we ended up with was the high population growth projection, this extra million people mantra, which has driven the unitary plan, which has driven the legislation for the special housing areas and all the ramifications that come from that. The difference between medium and high population growth projections is an extra 300,000 people. And on top of that, of course, let us not forget the empty ghost city of 22,000 empty houses in the Auckland region. The new information that I have, 2 pieces of new information, again confirming the medium population growth projection. The first comes from the Capacity for Growth Expert Conference Report, RPS Urban Growth, dated the 23rd of July 2015. It's a summary by David Hill, who was the expert group facilitator. Quote, a more realistic population growth projection is 700,000 to 800,000 increase over the planning period